was on TV. This, I think, is not fair for us local queen, that the big don't want to pay because we were not on TV or we're not famous as a let's say those drag queens from RuPaul. That's a bit sad. That's the reality, but it's also a plus for us because since the public go to see this show, when they're not in town, they want to see the local queen. And where do you see the local queen? Cabaret Mado.
Now, I know, I'm glad you were open and honest about that because I've asked a few other the girls, and I had Jasmine Masters on the show, and she talked a little bit about that. You know, it's better when if you're going to book her, come talk to her directly. That way you're not getting these absorbent amount of fees and all this stuff. You can talk to her and she can decide what she wants to do when she wants to book herself out, which I thought was respectful. Now, let's talk about you for a minute. Now, you've been performing 35 years. Now, I know how did the pandemic affect your cabaret?
I guess like everybody else, every other bars, we were like closed for a year almost. The time of the curfew, and we had a curfew in Quebec. I don't know if you had the same in Ontario, but we couldn't go out after midnight in the streets. So when the bar was open, we did the show earlier, and we made sure that patrons leave before 11:30 so they could be home by 12. And when they cut us completely, so we were like, of course, losing a lot of money. The girls were without jobs. I did a lot of video by myself at my home with my cats and my iPhone. And it was fun to do it because I kept contact with the public. I got a lot of nice reaction. Even now, public, the people who don't travel much because they live outside Montreal, they tell me, are you going to do more videos? Because we miss you. It was fun during the pandemic. We saw you more than we would ever see you because we live so far from your cabaret. And I'm like, I try, but I cannot do both, you know, working at night and shooting during the day. It's a bit too much for me. The lady not so young anymore.
Me either. I mean, I am lucky that I have the show that they're now going to put on network television. So, and I wanted you to be a part of that. I thought, well, why did they leave Mado out? Now, let's talk about a little bit about what you plan on doing now. Has the business picked up at Mado? Has it gotten better?
Oh my God, more than better. We're sold out every weekend. We have a hard time to find a free night for people who wants to do their own show. We're booked till October, November now. It's like amazing. The reaction is amazing because the people miss so much going out, I guess. And we improved the quality of the shows. And because I'm paying more to drag queens, we're charging more at the door. We started the show. We're starting the show earlier because of the pandemic. We kept the hours early, so people now they say, "Oh, we don't have to go out at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning to see drag queens. They come at 9 o'clock. They left. They're home before midnight. So we attract more people this way, and more serious people who are willing to pay $25 to get in, and to have a nice bottle of wine and have a good time. They sit, they listen. It's not a bar anymore. It's a real cabaret. People are respectful. This is a big change from before when people would come just to check 10 minutes of a show and leave, stand up. Then they used not to listen to our show. Now it's a real cabaret. They sit down and they listen. And I'm like, it's about
this should be something amazing for you as a host. That's what you want them to do.
That's what I want them to do. I want them to listen to me. I've been doing this job for so long. And the first 25 years, I would say, every time I would speak on the microphone, there was always people like speaking at the same time, shouting things at me, like in a bar. This was normal. But we put in the people's mind that the cabaret is a real venue for shows. It's not a dancing place anymore. You don't dance between the shows anymore. There's an intermission like at the theater. And after the show, you can jump on stage and dance, but that's it. We don't want to advertise it as a bar because this is the way the people used to think of, oh, we can go there, have a drink and blah, 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 chat during the show, not even looking at it and leave when we want. No, people pay for a ticket. They sit down 2 hours and they don't leave. I love it. Love it.
That is amazing, amazing, amazing. Now, you're such a great inspiration. I'm really awestruck because I love watching your shows online. And now that I'm getting to actually speak to you in person, this is something that's amazing. And when my agent, she says, I want you to reach out to Mado and get her on the show. So I said, well, she's probably busy and stuff. But then when I saw you online, I thought, oh, maybe we can get her on the show. So now let's talk a little bit about the security. Now, in the States, there's a lot going on with the right-wing groups trying to beat up the drag queens and all this kind of stuff. Are you worried about security at Cabaret Mado?
No, I'm not, because I think Montreal it's not Tennessee. Like we are in Canada. I'm confident that nothing's gonna happen here. There's no big movement against drag queen here. We hear about people who wants to do like little demonstration against drag queens, but they don't have followers. Maybe there's a small group of 10, 20 people on Facebook like just talking against drag queen, but it's not a big thing. The only thing that happened here this past year, there's a drag queen called Barbada. She used to be on Call Me Mother, that show on YT and Out TV, and she reads for kids in public library in school, and some parents, they were complaining about drag queens reading to children, but that's the only thing that we heard about, like people being against drag queen. And she even went on TV, talked about it on some local news, but nothing bad happens after that. There was no demonstration, there was no boycott. I know we're not. What I would put it on. We're not secure 100%, but we always watch our back just in case something happens. Still, right now, there's no cue of whatever that I heard from someone or somewhere that there's a movement moving to Montreal against drag queen. And I don't think it's moving to Canada either, because we're more open-minded than most of the redneck states of the United States, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, well, this is a good thing that we are pretty good here in Toronto. In the summertime, my show is traveling to the US. So the agent was a little bit concerned about that, but I'm kind of glad that I am going to be doing a little bit of traveling here. So maybe along the line, I will contact you again, because maybe you can pop up in one of the shows. And we will talk about that later on. Mado, it was wonderful chatting with you tonight. But this is just a little interview. I know you have a show to get to, and we're going to let you get to it. I just want to say, in closing, can you give us what you think the young people, some advice to the young people today?
Oh my God, it's so hard to talk to the young people now, because they know everything. No, what I tell my young drag queens at the cabaret, tell them, try to be original, try to be yourself, but try to build up a character of your own. Don't copy other drag queens. Make your own, your name, your own name, like make your own thing, because there's so many girls that look alike. You want the public to see someone different. You want the public to say, I like her. She's not like the other one we just saw before. And also I tell them, you need to be very disciplined. This is not a joke. This is such a job between two jobs. Of course, sometimes you need to have a day job, because it's not paying enough to do just drag. But you have to take this as a work, as an art, as something serious. It's not, for me, it's not something you do like on the side. If you want to do that job, you need to invest yourself, because it's a lot of work. It's hard. It's expensive, and sometimes it's hard on the morale. I don't know if that's the right word.
You said it right. It's hard on the morale. You're right. And I just, I want to just say thank you so much for doing this for us. I want you to have a fantastic show tonight. And thank you for just keep doing what you're doing. You've had a great impact on a lot of people's lives. You might not realize that a lot of people do watch you. The English people do watch you and they admire you. You know, when they do go to Montreal, they do go to your shows. And like you said, most of the time they were back there just dancing and running out the door to go to the other clubs or wherever. But you are well respected in this country. And don't think we in Toronto don't see you, because we do. And we see the good work and the fabulous shows that you do. And I want to just say, I take my wig off to you because I think you're fabulous. And I want you to have a great night tonight. And I want to just say thank you for doing the show for us.
I will have a great night. Thank you for that interview. And anytime you're welcome to come to see me, and or I will go see in Toronto, and let's have fun together.
Okay. And let me just say this to my audience. Tonight we had Mado Lamotte on the show from Cabaret Mado in Montreal, Canada. And she gave us her take on what she thinks should happen, and advice to the young kids about drag today. And she's been in the business for over 35 years. And so we wanted just a little bit of advice to the young kids. And she told them to just be yourself and create your own magic. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for supporting Pronoun TV and the Stephanie Stevens Show. Things are great. And now coming up in April, we will have That Girl from Orange County podcast. So things are happening for us. Stay strong, keep up the good fight. And we want to say to Mado, thank you very much and have a great show. Good night.